Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of The Phantom Detective, a South Korean thriller from 2016. Now our protagonist here is a detective, of course, as the title suggests, who works day to day to track down missing persons. Now one day he finally finds the man who murdered his mother when he was a child, but the murderer gets kidnapped, and the detective must track down the criminals responsible. Now, at the same time, however, he is forced to watch over two little girls, the murderer's grandchildren, ironically, who are tagging along for the ride. Now, unfortunately, the kidnappers work for a shadowy organization that has no qualms about eliminating anyone who stands in their way. So this movie has a very noirish feel to it, I think, with a lot of investigation that leads our protagonist from place to place as he narrates his thoughts. He even wears the old school detective hat and coat, which gives him kind of a classical look, which I liked. The lead actor here is Ji-hoon Lee, who previously starred in Bleak Night and appeared in The Front Line, both of which are very good movies, by the way. Now, The Phantom Detective provides even more evidence that this guy can legitimately carry a movie, and I do look forward to seeing him in his future roles. He does a very good job of portraying a man who is proficient at his job, but is still vulnerable and can get in over his head. You know how sometimes I complain about South Korean films throwing in bumbling detectives or bumbling cops? This guy isn't a bumbler. He actually feels like he's talented at his job, but he's humanized by sometimes making mistakes or getting in over his head. You know what I mean? So this one, you don't have to worry about the bumbling cop cliche in this movie. The dynamic between him and the little girls is also somewhat unorthodox and enjoyable. It's endearing because the kids don't immediately know that our protagonist wants to take revenge on their grandfather, but they do kind of figure out fairly early on that he's a habitual liar, I should say. And this gives some leeway for the filmmakers to pepper in some, humorous exchanges of dialogue between them. In addition, the youngest girl, the little girl, breaks out a notepad and takes notes every time he questions people. She's like his information gatherer throughout the film, almost as if she were a detective herself, and I found that to be kind of cute and entertaining to watch. This is very entertaining stuff that safely avoids the annoying little kid cliche as well. That isn't a problem in South Korean cinema, but does pop its head up more in American cinema, so you don't have to worry about that cliche in this. It's another positive. I really think there's no weak points in terms of the acting in this movie. Everybody does a good job. Now, in terms of the action, there are a handful of gun battles and some fistfights peppered in, none of which are graphically violent, if you're afraid of that type of thing, but they do have a hard-hitting feel to them, and that adds a weight and a danger to everything. This movie does get it's hard to describe the violence in this, because as I said, it's not graphic, but it is, I would say, a little bit on the grittier side. The action design has a little bit of a higher octane feel to it, which if you're familiar with Korean thrillers or action movies, you'll know what to expect there. But it doesn't, it's without the need to go over the top in its action or to be cartoonish. You know what I mean? And I appreciated that. This one doesn't go overboard. It doesn't jump the shark in terms of having ridiculous, unrealistic action scenes blown in. So that's good. Everything has a very grounded feel to this movie, and it's important in this particular case due to the tone and type of film we're dealing with here. We do have three likable leads, but there are some dangerous people in this movie. And in order to make them feel dangerous, you need to have some type of consequences and weight to everything. And one such person is the main bad guy, who makes multiple appearances throughout as he stalks our protagonists. And let me tell you, he is one tough son of a gun as well. So I like the bad guy in this too. A lot of movies, sometimes you'll have those good protagonists, and then the bad guy really isn't all that great, kind of like a Marvel film. But this one actually has a pretty cool bad guy to it. And I won't spoil the ending for you, but I will say that it is very satisfying. Now, there are a few stylistic flourishes here that are used for some of the buildings and environments at times, which utilize some artificial visuals. I know that some critics have complained a little bit about this particular special effect that's used, but I thought it was kind of a neat idea that gave the film some charm, so I did like that. I have to say, overall, The Phantom Detective really feels like a movie that would have come out in the United States in like the 1990s. This is the kind of movie that Hollywood just doesn't like to make anymore for some reason. So I definitely recommend it, not only for that reason, but because it's a good quality film. And fortunately, The Phantom Detective is widely available on DVD in the United States. It just came out a few months ago on DVD. And it also has a Region 3 DVD that's available on Yes Asia. So definitely check this one out. It's a pretty solid flick. And as always, we'll see you next time.